I've been doing this.
Let's talk Ravens-Bills.
Yeah, Ravens-Bills.
I was going to try to get
Our next game is called Fact or Fiction. Danny, show them how we play this game. If I say Justin Fields and the Jets are going to beat Rodgers and the Steelers, is that fact or fiction?
No, this is fiction. The Steelers defensively are absolutely stacked, specifically in their secondary. And then I really expect Rodgers to play well this season. I know there's a camp who thinks he stinks at football. I don't think those people have eyeballs. So while it's not going to be ridiculous, I think he plays good football. DK Metcalf has some success, and his defense plays lockdown. The Steelers win this game.
By the way, for anyone who may have missed it yesterday, the season hasn't started, but the Jets have already suffered what looks like a terrible loss.
Elijah Vera-Tucker, torn triceps, needs surgery, going to miss the season. Second time in 2 years, 3 years that he's had that injury. It's a brutal injury. So their offensive line now obviously will undergo change going into the season opener. Not the type of injury you want. And it just feels almost like a mental thing. It's the Jets. Here we go, right, Greeny? Isn't that what you're thinking right now?
He's the Jets fans in
Right?
Blueberry.
I've been thinking that for 58 years. I mean, and so obviously that's what I think. The Steelers, I think, are the more interesting side of this thing here. Dan thinks that Rodgers is going to play well. I've got sort of a 50-50 split amongst the people who visit here regularly. Some think Rodgers and the Steelers, the Tomlin, the fit's going to be outstanding, and others think it's going to absolutely blow up. Which side are you on?
I'm on the side of Aaron Rodgers. I think he's going to go scorched earth. He comes over to the Jets. Whatever happened during that. The Jets are still a dying breed right now. Shout out, pour one out for the Jets fans out there. But Aaron Rodgers, he's flown under the radar. They brought him some weapons, and Jonnu Smith. They got DK Metcalf. They're going to run the ball with that rookie they got at Iowa, who was overshadowed a little bit by Ashton Genty. Yep. I think they are going to go scorched earth on the Jets.
What do you think, Will?
I agree. This dude's 50 years old. He had threw for about 4,000 yards last year. I see him eclipsing 4,000 yards this year.
I love it.
And I got the Steelers winning the North.
He's almost 42 years old, so you're not that far from right. You have the Steelers winning the AFC North?
I have the Steelers winning the AFC North.
Hold on, Dan, before you say
yeah, I see the
fully
look.
agree
I
with
see
what
the
Will
look.
is saying. I'm agreeing with
Roster top to bottom. Ravens a much better football team. Schedule-wise, Ravens got 8 or 9 of the former playoff teams last year on their schedule.
9.
Steelers have a better schedule. I like the Steelers getting spicy with Aaron Rodgers.
I'm not on
4,000 yards, Danny O.
I appreciate you guys going 2 for 2 on that. The Ravens are the best team in the AFC, the best roster in the AFC. I understand schedule matters. So does like talent.
Yeah.
You know, so does like ability to go play the game. And I just think the Ravens are still, I think, head and shoulders better than Pittsburgh.
All right, let me get to a couple of other games here. We'll come back to those. Let's do Giants and Commanders. Will, I'm coming to you. If I said Russell Wilson and the Giants are going to upset Jaden and the Commanders, is that fact or fiction?
That is fiction, Greeny. Here's why. Dan Quinn culture. The city of D.C. and Nova, they are on fire. There's a lot of momentum, a lot of optimism, and because they have a superhero at quarterback. He's with Cliff Kingsbury, year 2. They go out and get Deebo Samuel. You get Laramie Tunsil for protection. I love the Commanders. That is fiction. Giants ain't doing
Best
nothing.
lungs in the league.
Jeffy, I feel like you've been sneaking up on me for a month now talking about this.
Yeah, and listen, I don't know where this came from. I'm not sure why I believe it as much as I do, but I just feel like the Giants are going to be one of those teams this year that is better than people think. I think they're going to give the Commanders everything that they want on Sunday. I think this is going to be a close game. I think the Giants are going to have a real chance to upset them. Of course, you can play this tape back on Monday if Washington wins 28-0 and make me look silly. But I just think that the Giants, with their pass rush, with their defense, I think they're going to be a lot better than people realize this year.
I agree with you. I just don't think they beat the Commanders.
And
Hey, they got to run the ball if they're going to win that game.
the record may not always demonstrate it, the improvement, because the schedule is so tough for the Giants. It is, before the season begins, the hardest schedule in the NFL. Let's get to the best game, maybe, of the entire weekend. It's Sunday night. It's a rematch of a playoff game a year ago. Taylor, if I said Ravens-Bills is a preview of the AFC Championship game, is that fact or fiction?
That is going to be fiction, Greeny. We all know who the big bad wolf is in the AFC. That is still the Kansas City Chiefs. These two teams sit right below them. They hate him. They have fever sweats about him at all times. That's Patrick Mahomes. Right now, these two teams playing, it's all about seeding going into the playoffs.
Yeah, that's we called this yesterday a September game to remember. And to make the point that Will was just making, between the Ravens and Bills, the Bills have an enormous advantage in schedule the rest of the way. We think they play in an easier division. They play fewer playoff teams from a year ago. They play only one game the whole season outside the Eastern time zone, and the Ravens start with a gauntlet. They have 5 of their first 6 games against playoff teams from a year ago, those being Buffalo, Detroit, Kansas City, Houston, and the Rams. So there's a school of thought based on that. that if this game counts for a game and a half, if you want to say this is a game and a half in the standings because it's going to break a tie in January, does that suggest the Ravens need this game Sunday night more than the Bills do?
I think so, because it sets the tone for the season. It is week one. We're going to be talking about both these teams in the playoffs at the end of the year. Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, they're both going to be MVP candidates. But this sets the tone for the whole season, and they do have a gauntlet of a schedule. I think this is bigger for the Ravens to win this game than it is.
Yes, there is no organization and no team under more pressure than the Baltimore Ravens. At some point, I love them.
No team under more pressure?
At some point, we have to get past the reasons and excuses for why it doesn't happen. This is a team that has a Super Bowl winning head coach. It has the best roster in football. Their starting secondary is all first-round picks, and they got a quarterback that has multiple MVPs. At some point, you got to go win the whole thing. Or there's going to be a restart. It can't just be, well, this is a great organization, a great team, a great collection of talent, and they continue to fall short. And they know it in their own words. They say they continue to fall short in the playoffs. And when it matters the most, they, for some reason, don't play up to their standards. And I understand it's week one. I agree with Will. Like, this game is massive for Baltimore. It is. I'm not going to the extreme of, like, if you lose, your season's over. But there's no team under more pressure than this team to finally go get it done, because how many times do organizations have this type of setup and just don't win the trophy? It doesn't happen often in the league.
I feel a little bit like you can say the same about both the teams in this game, right? Both these teams have been there. They both have the MVP caliber quarterback.
Yes.
They've both been so close, and they both fall just short. The difference feels like the Bills get beat by Kansas City. The Ravens get beat by themselves.
Yes.
They go into the playoffs and they don't play big. They make uncharacteristic mistakes. That's the kind of thing that I think leads people to ask the kind of questions that Dan is asking. Shefty, what's your feeling on Baltimore as the season begins?
I think Baltimore is loaded. I think they're going to be better on defense than people realize. I think they could lose on Sunday night and still rebound and be the best team in the AFC. I think Lamar Jackson's an MVP. I think they've done all the right things.
Yeah.
They're so deep. They're so strong. Like, I'm a big Baltimore believer.
Totally.
Let's put the picks up on the screen. And if I were to tell you, and Taylor, you just said Kansas City's still a team to beat, and clearly that's true. But if I told you one of these two is going to wind up, I'm telling you right now, one of these two teams is going to wind up in the Super Bowl at the end. Which are you telling me?
You know what? It might be because I was over in Rochester, New York, watching the Buffalo Bills, and I was watching Josh Allen, as comfortable as he was, making his inappropriate jokes and also only incompleting 2 passes.
Plenty of them.
I feel very good about the Bills. They're actually my Super Bowl pick. Shout out Brandon Beam, the GM, as well. He told us we could be
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show. We can put him through a table if we get to the point.
Those are his words, by the way, and I'm glad we're doubling down on ESPN.
We'd like to make him a friend of our show as well.
Yeah.
Brandon, give us a call if you like. Somehow I'm the only one on Buffalo in this game on Sunday night.
You guys aren't that friendly with Buffalo that you picked.
Well, listen, you're about to make enemies.
Joe Brady, big fan. We know you're a friend of
Joe
the
Brady,
show.
yeah, friend of
Yeah,
he
yeah.
had the girl dad hat and everything.
Yeah.
I'll say this, like, when you talk about week one, like, who needs it more? It's kind of like a little bit, it's a little dramatic. But if you're going to say who needs it more, I mean, Lamar Jackson did not win the MVP. Josh Allen won the MVP. A lot of people think Lamar Jackson should have won. And then also there's Mark Andrews, who, there's probably death threats and tweets and all these things are happening to him after he drops that 2-point conversion.
Yeah.
This is a guy that puts the Buffalo Bills on his lock screen. He's in the weight room. He's getting after it.
Public apology.
Public apology. Literally written like a lawyer was like, this is what you need to say. We got to get you out of this one, big dog. Like, you got to make it happen. So he has gone through the nutrition process. He talks about his weight training. I think, like, Mark Andrews, I don't know what the over and under is on his receiving yards, but we're going to take it.
Sports.